One of the key performances in Saturday night's game by SMU against North Texas State was put in by sophomore quarterback Jim Bob Taylor. Taylor now has led SMU to 2 victories in as many games.
Well, I thought Jim had a real fine, adequate ball game. I think he can even do better, but considering he had a whole week with a considerable amount of pressure in preparation for North Texas State, and he's playing a good football team too. I thought he really performed well. He had no fumbles or no handoff miscues. He handled our system in an expert fashion. He threw the ball when we called on him, threw it really exceedingly well when you look at the production of 5 out of 6 for 1 touchdown. So I thought he had a real credible game.
There also were 2 100-yard performances by the Mustangs, the first time that has happened in 5 years. Craig James had 100 yards and 18 carries, and Charles Wagner carried for 184 yards and 26 carries. That was the best one-game performance by a freshman in the history of SMU.
Charles obviously had a great game. We're sorry that Eric is hurt, and Eric's just got to get well to give us a great 1-2 punch. And in my mind, I've said this all along, both are starters in our opinion as coaches at SMU.
The Mustangs are now preparing for a Saturday night game in the Superdome against Tulane. The Green Wave is fresh off a 33-19 victory over TCU.
Well, George, you know, in watching Tulane, you're just so overly impressed with Rock Hondas, their outstanding quarterback. He's gone into his senior year. I really feel that he's the best senior quarterback in the nation today. I also like Jordan Case at North Texas State. I think those two are really credible performers and great competitors. Honda's his class all the way. He handles himself on and off the field extremely well. He throws the ball, runs the ball. He's a guy we have to stop.
As long as SMU was winning without him, injured quarterback Mike Ford could deal with his situation. But when the Mustangs lost to Tulane last weekend, Ford was overcome with a sense of frustration. He was on the sidelines, unable to do anything but give moral support to his teammates.
Those guys were out there playing hard, and that's really what counts. And yet you're a spectator, but you're not a spectator. It's something that I can't explain because I've never been there before. This is my first experience with it. People that's played the game or played any game for that matter have been involved in anything that you care about and that you work hard for and spend a lot of time with, which in football it's very much the case and all that. And when something grabs you and takes you away from it, and you're fighting to get back and you can't, in my case, I'm physically unable to get back.
Ford says his depression is offset by the encouragement he has received from football fans everywhere.
I heard from a man from Atlanta, Georgia. And while I was in the hospital, I got a get well card and a little letter from him that he just kept up with Mustang Mania. And he was sorry to hear about my accident. And, it really makes you feel good. If things like that didn't happen to you, it would really be hard.
Ford hates to lose, especially when there isn't anything he can do about it. The junior quarterback says if he is granted an extra year of eligibility because of the knee injury, he will use it. And that will be good news to SMU fans who have found that Mustang Mania just isn't the same without him. This is Ray Gaskin, Channel 8 Sports.
385! 385! Hey!
With Texas playing Oklahoma Saturday afternoon, it is almost overshadowed SMU's game with Baylor Saturday night in Texas Stadium. But make no mistake about it, the Baylor game is important to the SMU Mustangs. After going 3-1 through the first part of the schedule, in which they were favored in every game, as things stand now, of the 7 games remaining, the Mustangs might be picked to win 2 of them. The Mania needs to beat Baylor.
Oh boy, Bill, you can put parentheses and explanation points and everything after that. I don't know perhaps of a bigger game in the program's history since we've been here in the 4 years. Number one, we're leading the conference. We're 2-0, and yet that you can kind of say out of the side of your mouth because the 2 victories are over what are picked as the bottom 2 teams in the league. And no deference to those teams. That's just a statement of fact. Now we've got to play a Baylor football team that's had great victories over A&M and Texas Tech, and it posted a victory over Texas last year. Obviously shows you the strength of their football team, and they're equally as proud of the progress they've made. So it's going to be 2 heavyweight boxers going at each other for a 15-rounder. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out football game.
The Ponies will more than likely come out running the football. Baylor is ranked 8th in the conference against the rush and 1st against the pass. But this is also an important game for the Bears. At 3-2 on the year, a third loss this early wouldn't help them much. This is Bill McAtee, Channel 8 Sports.
This afternoon there were players on the practice field, and at the same time there were players in the training room. The injury bug, which claimed quarterback Mike Ford early in the season, has taken a further toll. Freshman James Collier has replaced All-American Emmanuel Tolbert at wide receiver. Tolbert has a hamstring injury. His senior year is turning into a nightmare.
It's kind of mind-boggling, you wonder, what's going on, and you lose your starting quarterback, and you get a different quarterback in, and you look at your personal goals and stuff, and you try to evaluate, and see what things going to be like. But I think you have to keep your head up and keep driving hard, and keep working hard, and, hopefully things will come your way.
You seem to still have a positive attitude, and yet this has to be a very disappointing time for you because now you too have an injury.
Yeah, it is, but I feel this injury is not a very serious one. I think I can bounce back off of it.
Quarterback Jim Bob Taylor has a swollen knee. He was injured in the Baylor game. He'll be less than 100% for the Houston contest.
It appears right now he'll have a chance to play and come back. He had a good workout last night, although hampered a little bit, and we feel relatively certain that he'll be able to start the game, although we're under no stretch of the imagination are we afraid to go with Mike Fisher. Mike will see probably some action and maybe a lot, and I think he'll do a fine job.
The injury list is just one problem facing SMU. Another major obstacle awaits the Ponies Saturday in the Astrodome. The Houston Cougars are unbeaten in 5 ball games and ranked 5th in the nation in both polls. Ray Gaskin, Channel 8 Sports.
Some of the bumper stickers proclaiming the existence of Mustang mania are fading. Others are much brighter and perhaps do not reflect quite the mood that a 3-game losing streak has had on the team.
Mustang mania isn't dependent upon one person or a group of persons. I think it's an idea, it's a happening, it's going to be here long past Ron Meyer, Mike Ford, and a lot of other talented football players, let alone coaches or individuals. And I think it's a great credit to the university. I think it's kind of a feeling of pride that Dallas has.
The Texas SMU weekend was supposed to be the biggest football weekend of the year for SMU. Financially, it still will be. However, about 7,000 tickets still remained on sale late Thursday, with the current selling pace not brisk enough to generate a sellout by kickoff time Saturday afternoon.
I don't let the fact that we win or lose affect my job, although it does affect whether I hype it even more or tone it down a little bit. A lot of times I keep going, and I know Russ Potts and Coach Meyer feel the same way, that really our job keeps on going, and we have so many things to accomplish. Coach Meyer and I were talking the other day, and we came up with a phrase that nobody wants to hear about the labor pains. They just want to see the baby. So I'm not going to give anybody the labor pains. We're going to do it here, and it's just going to take some time, and it might be another year off. We've had some unfortunate bad luck with injuries, but hey, we got to keep going.
Thomas says the overall deficit of the SMU athletic program continues to decline. An undefeated Texas Longhorn team would have produced a sure sellout. An undefeated SMU team might have produced an appearance on TV. Financial drawbacks, but no setback.
Hey, it's definitely on track, George. We're on the way, definitely.
Don't be surprised if SMU doesn't pull off a real stunning upset victory.
George Reba, Channel 8 Sports.
Well, you always think that, when you go anywhere, if I'd have went anywhere else, I'd have probably been thinking the same thing, especially during tour days, anywhere you go, you say, it's football for me, this is getting old, I'm getting tired of it. But really you're not. You really like it.
Except that the injury thing has been what's really bothered you personally.
Yeah, that's what, bothered me the most. I just can't seem to stay healthy.
What is the overall attitude of the team? We've heard a lot said that there's some dissension on the team, some splinter groups here and there, all trying to figure out what's happened to the team this year besides the injuries. What's your own attitude?
Well, I just think we're just having bad luck, and, really, I just don't think it was time for us, to win yet. No matter how great a players you get, if it's just not that time, you won't win. I just don't think it was time.
I'm sure Mike Ford's been feeling that all along since he got hurt early.
Yeah, I know that was really, that really hurt us a lot, when he went down. And, we're looking for him to come back next year.